Okay, Unit 3 test. Excuse me. Let's do page 1 here. We're looking for horizontal oblique asymptotes. Horizontal or oblique. So we got to look at the degrees. And this one has a degree of 3, the highest exponent of any x, and that's the largest exponent on any x, and that's 3. And the degree of the denominator, well, that be an x times an x times an x squared, so that's degree 4. And when the degree of the denominator is higher than the numerator, the denominator of the fraction will grow bigger than the numerator and make it a very small fraction, and this will go to 0 as x gets large. Now this one, the numerator has a degree 2, and the denominator has a degree 1, and when the denominator is less than the numerator by 1, it'll be a oblique asymptote, some sort of line, and we're supposed to find that. So we got to divide the denominator, 2x minus 1, into the numerator. And I got to put these in order, so that's minus 4x squared. Next, the highest power is plus 2x plus 3. 2x times what makes negative 4x squared? 2 times a negative 2 will make negative 4, and x times x will make an x squared. So then I take the negative 2x times the 2x, the negative 2x times the minus 1. Then I draw the line and change the signs and add, and it turns out I don't have any x's left, anything here, just a plus 3, and 2x can't go into that, so I'm done with that, and my remainder would be put over the 2x minus 1, but as x gets large, this will go to 0, and so it'll be y equals negative 2x. And if you want to check yourself on any of these, you can type this in and type what you think the oblique or horizontal asymptote is, and see if the curve gets closer and closer to that, or in this case, it's a minus 2x line that's going this direction, and this curve must somehow get closer and closer to that. And see. Here we have a degree 4 in the numerator. In the denominator, it's a degree 4. The degrees are equal, and so we look at the leading coefficients. The degree 4 happens here. Its leading coefficient is a 3. Down here, it's a 2. So this will go to that horizontal asymptote up at 1.5. Okay. Number 2. We're supposed to write an equation for this. Okay, so the numerator is related to the x-intercepts. So let's see what the x-intercepts are. Well, we have 1 here, and if that's minus 2, halfway would be minus 1, so that looks like a minus 1/2, so that means it's x plus 1/2. And it goes through, doesn't look like it's hesitating, it just went right through, so that's degree 1. Might have been something else, but it looks like degree 1 to me. This one comes down and touches, it looks like, at 2, so it'd be x minus 2, and then goes back up. And that's, we've been calling that a bounce. That looks like it's a degree 2 characteristic. Okay, now that's the only x-intercept, so we can move to the denominator and look for vertical asymptotes. And it looks like there's one at minus 1, which means x plus 1 would be the factor. And they go in opposite directions there, so I'm looking at the behavior of the graph at that asymptote. If they go in the opposite, it's either 1, 3, or 5 for the exponent. We'll just leave it 1. And over here, somewhere between 4 and 6 is a vertical asymptote. Now I've got to look a little bit and kind of predict what this is going to go. This is going up pretty straight. So it's probably got to be close to that. Now this one's still angling over, and if I kind of follow it, I'm getting a feeling that it's going to be at 4, which means it's x minus 4 for the factor. And since they both go in the same direction up here, I'm going to say that must be squared. Now, if I look at the degrees, I have 1, 2, 3, because this squared makes 2, 3. So I got a degree 3 to a degree 3, which means the leading coefficient, right now it's 1x times x times x, so the leading coefficient would be 1. This would be 1, which means it would approach y equal 1, but this graph doesn't approach y equal 1. It approaches a half. So we must have to put a 1/2 in here so that it's half as tall and will approach a half instead of 1. You could also put in 0 for all the x's, and that'd be 1/2 times 4, which would be 2. 0 plus a half is a half. 0 minus 2 is minus 2 squared is 4. A half times 4 is 2. Put a 0 in here, and we get 1, and a 0 here, we get minus 4 squared, 16. So we get 2 over 16, which is an eighth. If you put that in a calculator, you can figure that out as 0.125. And 0.1, if that's 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, that's 0.1. It's not up at 0.125. It's smaller than that. So it had to be something like a half or a third or something like that if you looked at that. So I was accepting other answers, but the correct one is a half. And that's page 1.